Hey guys, welcome back. So probably in this particular video, we are going to do one more small JavaScript project, which is something called as number facts. So we'll see how this application works. It is kind of a tiny kind of application so that you will get used to something called as APIs and how it works, kind of a basics of basic APIs. So we will see the example first, like what is the application exactly about, and then we will discuss regarding what are the fundamentals required to build this particular application and how simple it is to build such kind of sample JS project where you can make your foundations really strong. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So if I go here and if I type any kind of number, for example, if I write 34 and I get a fact of 34. So 34 is a lucky number of Victor Pelvin's protagonist Stefan Mikhailo. So sorry about that, guys. I think you can see it and read it off of the novel numbers. I don't have any idea about this. This data is coming from API. I'll show you the API. Let me go to some other number where I can read it properly, right? So 35 is a basic film gauge in most commonly used for both analogical photography and motion graphics. So it basically gives you some of the facts of that particular number. If I type 70, right? So if I type 70, yeah, 70 is the number of years of marriage until the platinum wedding anniversary. Okay, fair enough. So if I go and type 45, so it will take some time. So because it's the data is fetching from that particular data source and then it's coming back. So if I go to 45, waiting for 45, why is this 45 not coming? Yes, it is. So 45 is the sapphire wedding anniversary in years of marriage. Okay, fine. 47, and if I do 47, it's again coming from the API. It's not I generated this particular data. So this particular data is coming based on API, and that particular API is called as numbers API. So what do you mean by numbers API, right? So if you go to numbersapi.com and if you click on it, so this is the particular API. So you have math API trivia. I basically I'm going to use trivia here. So basically it should be numbersapis.com / and particular number you are trying to send, and if you send that particular number, you'll be getting a data based on that particular number. So you can also try it out based on the years also. So that would be a random year. So if I type here numbers API /5, right? So I will be getting the data. So I'll be getting the data of that file. So this is since this particular data is fetching this from we are fetching this data from this particular API. That means data is stored in somewhere in some server, and I'm trying to fetch that particular server. So since that is there, that's why there was a delay in getting this particular data. So it all depends on the API. How quick is your API is trying to respond back with the data. So you are trying to get that particular data. Okay. So basically, we will be using we are going to use I implement this in two different ways, basically, right? So we will be using initially we will be using the old traditional way of Ajax. So we will be learning how to build Ajax there and how to make asynchronous JavaScript request to a certain APIs and fetch data from that. So after that, after using the Ajax and the similar way, we are going to use something called as fetch API. So in this two particular way, we are trying to do it, one in the old way and one in the new way. I think it will not make much time if I want me to develop this. Okay, so fetch API is comparatively very simple compared to the Ajax. For this application, both are simple, but I feel that a fetch API is something which we are using very normally. So along with fetch APIs, you have Axios 2. Axios is a third-party library which you can download and try and fetch data from a third-party data source. Okay, so our APIs will be numbersapi.com. We will be using this particular APIs to fetch the data, and we are going to fetch first of all by using something called as Ajax, asynchronous JavaScript and XML, and second one with the second way called as fetch API. So without further ado, let's get started. So we'll go to VS Code. So this is a code which I have built. So we'll remove everything. We'll save it. We'll start from a plain slash, and if you go and refresh, yes, everything gone. So let's get started. Quickly, I'll just make it right. So this is the emit. I think probably in the last class we have discussed it. So this is coming from exclamation mark and a tag, and if I do, it should be numbers fact, right? Numbers, not fact, it's fact. Okay, so we'll do a body. Basically we'll be using Bootstrap here because I basically not a big fan of CSS because I don't know much of CSS too. Being very honest, I kind of developed I kind of work with the dynamic part of the website and not the static part. So For simplicity part, I always use Bootstrap, which is a great friend, to be honest with you. So I go here and I paste that Bootstrap link, and the Bootstrap link, I think we can go to getbootstrap.com, right? So bootstrap.com, you can pick that CSS link there. You'll be getting a CSS link. You can pick that particular CSS link, come here, copy and paste. Okay. So basically now we'll get started with the Bootstrap. So first of all, I want that color to be, let us make that color blue. So Bootstrap has a color combination, something called as BG. Can use it as primary, so we can make it entirely blue, right? Save it, go back and check here. Okay, yes, it is blue. Basically everything turned into blue. So I want everything to be in the center, right? So to do that, wait, let me rearrange this first. And yes, shall we get started? So next will be the container, because I want everything to be in the center. So I want everything to go inside that. Then I'm using Css Grid System here. So this is not a Bootstrap class. Sorry, Bootstrap Grid System here. So basically a row. After that, I want a span of column spanning, probably one column here. So I'll be using col md6, right? Col md6. And then probably if I want to type something, I'll just show you what will come there. If I type a hi there, okay. So open a live server, just look at what we'll get. Yes, so we got this blue and we got this high, and this high is coming here, but probably I want that to be in the pretty center. So how can I do that? I can do that by using something called as MX Auto. So what do you mean by MX Auto in Bootstrap? So this will do margin on all the four sides. Okay, on yeah, so it will give a margin on right and left, sorry, right and left margin. So MY means top and bottom, MY top and bottom, MX means right and left, not on all sides. Okay, you'll get that in probably in the center. So this is what we are going to do, but we are not going to do any kind of H1, right? So we had a card there. So what we're going to do is we'll basically have a card, right? We'll basically have a card, and then inside the card we will be having a H1 telling a number of facts, right? Number facts, save it, go here. Yes, we got this number of facts here. So it's better that we can add few styles here again, right? So we will make it red, or make our card red by using BG danger, which means background will is danger. Danger means red in Bootstrap. So this will become red. And I want the text to be white. So what I can do is I will make that text white there. So text white is again a Bootstrap class, which will make my text white. Yes, good. So I don't want this to be on such a top way. I'll take it down. So what I'll do is I'll do margin top, yeah, margin top of 5. So 5 is a value which is the extreme value where I can take 5 times from the top to bottom. Okay, so this is number facts, and then I want some padding too. So padding of 4. If I do that, yes, so I can it gave me some decent thing. So this is the best thing about Bootstrap. Okay, so this is why I love Bootstrap, because you can do it, you can do so many stuffs with very less number of code and very less number of, it's kind of a very good framework, which I felt. Okay, so here I think you can basically type a paragraph here, and paragraph, and you can write enter a number, right? Enter a number, sorry, a number, and get a random text, right? To save it, we'll go what, yes, so we got this right here again. So next I want a input text box, right? To enter that particular number, I want an input text box. So input type is equal to number. Here it is not text, as we all know, right? Right, so we will just close it here, save it, we get a number, yes, but we want to style it. So how can we style it? So we'll give a class here basically. So we'll give a class of form control. Form control is again a Bootstrap class. So I probably will be making a Bootstrap tutorial, guys, right, for you to get started with Bootstrap, so which is really important to get going, I feel. So we'll be expecting that sometime soon. So if I save this and if I go here, yes, now it's looking a bit decent, better than that. So next thing what I want is an ID. Of course, I want an ID because I want to use this in the JavaScript. So I will pick this particular ID. So what I will do is I'll just give it numbers, okay, and then a placeholder to make it better. Okay, enter a number, okay, and that should be it. If I go there, yes, so everything looks as expected, right? So the next thing is probably I want a body. So I want a card body where I want, if I type something, the number has to come, right? Now it doesn't happen anything. So what I will do is I'll create a div here, right? I'll create a div with a class of probably card body, right? With the class of card body and with an ID, because I want an ID for that. So ID will be probably fact. So what fact we are going to get. So inside that card, I will be having one more div of class. Sorry. I'll be having one more div probably of class. No, I will be probably of class of card title. So we will be having our title here, right? And we will be showing it as number fact. Probably this I will replace. I don't want this div. We'll check it. We'll check it how it comes. Number fact. We'll save here. No, not this is not I wanted. So I want this to be something like h4 if that's fine there. H4 is something which I'm looking for. So yeah, we'll change this to h4. Okay. So save this and yeah. So this is what I want here. So this is h4 card title and then I want the paragraph tag. So this is next one is the paragraph tag, right? So paragraph is where I think the paragraph is where if I type a number, right? So the fact should come here. So that should be in paragraph. So initially it won't be there. So only when we type the number it should come. So this is again a trick of JavaScript. So we'll give a ID. So we want to use that particular ID later on, and then I'll give a class, right? I'll give a class of card text. Okay. So card text, right? And this is a place where probably this is a place where we put our fact which is coming from the data. Okay, so now this is fine, but basically when we open this particular card, right? Okay, we'll just try it out. I will try some gibberish here, save it and check whether it's coming. Yes, the data is coming, but we don't want anything here, but we want that particular number fact to come, and that fact is coming from another data source. Okay, so but when we open this particular page, right, we don't want this number fact to be shown. When only we type a particular number, then only I want to show the card body there. So we have to do a small kind of a styling here. So basically we'll use style, right, style tag, and we say what are we trying to do? We don't want this card body itself, right? That means fact. So that means fact. So we are pulling the ID. We are doing inline here. We are not doing any kind of we are doing internal. We are not doing any kind of external style sheet. And what we are going to do basically, probably we are looking for styles. So when we are looking for styles, we are doing display to none, right? Display to none. Save. Go. Okay. So not this display. Just type none. Will this work? Yes. So this worked here. So we are not getting any kind of display of card body. So when we type it, we want to get that, and we will be doing that in JavaScript part. So this is it for the UI part. So guys, this is extremely simple. If you're using Bootstrap, I think you can do it in a very easy way. Okay. So now we'll start with JavaScript part, and first initially we are doing this with the Ajax way, and then probably we are going to do this in a fetch API way, that which is the latest version you can say in JavaScript. Fetch API again comes with JavaScript. I will be probably doing a separate video on fetch API sometime soon. Okay, so let's get started again now with JavaScript part. So before here, write the script tag, right? Write the script tag. All the script will go here. So I am doing internal scripting here, not the external script or something. All right. So I'll just comment it off. Internal scripting. So script start here. Yeah, internal. Okay. So the script tag initially, what I want is I would be wanting some right. So I want this card now, because this is invisible now. So I want to make it visible sometime. So I will put that card here. So let fact is equal to, how can I fetch that from the document? How can I fetch that from HTML? We have something called as document.getElement by ID, right? Get element by ID, and we are fetching the fact there. So that means what happens here is this particular fact, right? Where is the fact? I cannot see the fact at all. Yeah, this fact. So this particular div, now you have access to that JavaScript, because we are pulling that ID there. So we are pulling that ID, and that has been stored in a variable called as fact. So now this fact has this particular fact ID and that particular card body. So next I want do the same way, and I want to do the fact text, because we want to show the fact text, right? So fact text, yes, fact text is equal document.getElement by id and fact text. So save it, right? So great, we are doing great progress. So now what I want to do is I want to take this input field, right? I want to take this input field. I have a ID here, and assign it to some variable called as numbers. So let numbers is equal to document dot get element by id of numbers, right? We get the numbers here, is a great sign. We get the numbers here, and we got the numbers. So now what I want to do is, now what happens is I got the number. Now I want to do an event. Event means I am typing something, so that's an event. So you have to add an event listener, which probably we have done in the last video, in the last example. So numbers dot add event listener, okay, which is the event input is the event, because we are inputting, we are typing something, and then I want to run a function. So that function is something called as get fact fetch. Okay, we will use Ajax now. So Ajax. So this is the function which I'm going to target. Okay, get fact Ajax. So now inside the script, I can comment it by telling Ajax way or old method in which you can fetch data. Fine, fair enough, guys. I hope this is clear now. So now you are writing a function. So what we have to do is we have called this particular function or referenced this particular function. Now we have to declare that particular function. So function get fact Ajax is a function. So initially we'll write console.log of 1 2 3. So save it and check whether this function either does something, inspect it, right? And now go to your console and just type something. Yes, so 1 2 3 works here. So that means whenever you are typing something, this function will be is loading, and whatever you type, something happens in the console. So that means this function is fine. So the next thing what I want to do is, now I have targeted this particular input box, but I want to get this particular value. Whatever I'm typing in the input box, I want to get that particular value. So what to do that? So how can we do that? We can just do it by initializing it to a variable. So let number is equal to numbers dot value. So numbers dot value. Okay, numbers dot value. So now if I console.log of number here, we just try to check whether I'm getting that particular number. So what is numbers here? So numbers means that particular input text box. So dot value means whatever you are typing in there. Okay, so we will check now. We'll check now whatever we are typing. Yes, we are getting the data whatever we are typing. Okay, so great progress. So we are getting the data whatever we are typing inside here. We are trying to get that particular data. So the next thing is we got this particular data, and now we are using Ajax here. Okay, so Ajax we can use by telling we are initializing a XHR object by using a XML HTTP, right? So this is a way in which you have to initialize by using Ajax. So for the people who don't know Ajax, so XML HTTP request is the object, which is a JavaScript global object. So by using this particular object, you are making a request to a server or an API by using this particular object. Okay, so XML HTTP request, you are creating a new instance of that particular object. Instance means you can say subordinates, or you can call this any number of times. So you need not use this. So this probably is kind of a constructor function or an object. So this is the instance of that particular object. Okay, so what you can do is initially you can set it up to xhr.open. So xhr as a function. So if you click xhr and click a dot here, you will be getting a list of all the functions which can be used with this particular XML HTTP request. So one such function is something called as open. So what does this open do? It will take two parameters basically. So first one is a get method. So what I hope you guys know what is a get method. Get method is to get particular data from an API, and the second is from where are you getting this API? From where are you fetching this data? Okay, so the first way is to let me comment it out and then write it for you. So the first parameter, it accepts two parameters basically. The first parameter is how to get the data, right? Second parameter is from where to get the data. So these are the parameters. So what will be the first parameter now? How to get the data. So we are getting that by using a method called as get. That means you are getting the data. So second parameter is how to from where we are getting the data. So we, as we insisted, we will be getting this data from this particular API. So copy this, right? Copy this and paste it here and put that in your codes. Okay, this was 5 here. Put that inside the codes. But we don't want this to always be 5, right? So this will give you only the value of 5, but we need not want this to be always 5. So what do we want here? We want this to be a number. We want this particular number because this number holds the particular value. So whatever value you are typing in, this particular number holds. So what you can do is you can just write plus number. Okay, save. So you are doing great progress now. So next thing what we can do is xhr dot onload. So xhr dot onload is a function. We are assigning it to a function, right? Okay, so we are assigning it to a function. But before that, make sure that there is a method called as send. So that means you are making a request. So you are making a request to open with the get method. You are fetching this data and you are initializing the value of that particular number. Now we are initializing this to a function. This is a common Ajax. You have to do open, onload, and send in any Ajax example. Okay. So what are we trying to do is we are checking whether this response, we are getting this particular response. Okay. So we are just checking whether we are getting any kind of response from that particular data, or else what we can do is we can just write console.log of this dot response text. Don't worry guys, don't worry. Okay, we'll save this and we'll check whether we are getting this data now. Okay, we'll go here and we'll just type 2. Okay, yes, 23. So I'm getting the data. So I'm getting the data now. I'm getting this data from the database. Sorry, getting this data from this particular API, and response text is where you will be, the Ajax will store that particular data in a variable called as response text. Okay, and why are we using this? Because xhr is an object, and once you are using with an object, you have to make use of this keyword. I think programming knowledge. Okay, so since you are working with an API, right? So API will also have something called as responses. So responses might be sometimes be 200, sometimes be 400, sometimes be 401. So you might be knowing the server status, right? So if we are checking if this dot status is equal to 200, that means everything is proper, and we are checking one more condition. Sorry, and we are checking one more condition. And what is that condition? That condition supposed to be if the number is not equal to empty. So if the number is not equal to empty, I think we are probably doing this. What I don't know what is this particular issue. If this dot status is equal to okay, and number, okay, we are having this number not equal to empty. Save this. Okay, number not equal to empty. So what's happening here is, so inside this if condition, so what do we want to do? We have already made this display is equal to none, right? So we want to show that. So how we can show that? Fact dot style dot display is equal to block. So we are making it as block. And the next thing what we are going to do is we are displaying that particular data. So fact text. So we already have fact text which has that particular paragraph. So inner text is equal to this dot, because we know that response comes from this dot response text, right? So we are assigning it to response text. So if you save this, I hope things all are working now. If I go now and if I write 23, oh, we are not getting data. Okay, we are fact dot style, because we have this as fact itself, right? Let me check what is the issue. Give me a moment. We have sent this fact dot style dot display is equal to block. Everything looks perfect. Fact text dot inner text. Seems like everything is working. numbersapi.com/number. Still we are not getting. Okay. Inspect and see whether what's the error we are getting to get. Okay, it seems that it doesn't have a course issue. Once we refresh it and type it again. Okay. Yes. We are getting the data. So 23 is the number of crosses on Calverley in the Monty Python life or whatever. So this is something which you are going to get now. So you are getting this data, and every time we make a request, this is going and making a request there, and the data is coming from that particular request and it is showing to us. Okay. We write 35 or 45. 45, yes. 46 will work. Once again, we'll check whether 46, yes, 46 is working, 47 and whatever. All the numbers are working now. So that's it about this particular thing. So we have worked with the Ajax now. So Ajax is working well. So now what are we going to do? We are going to do by using fetch. Okay. Same functionalities, we are going to use it in a different way. So the latest way, that is something called as fetch. So below this, I'll write using fetch. Okay. So we'll write a function similarly, and that function is get fact fetch. So we'll be using that function there. So we are getting that particular function. So again, let number is equal to number as a similar thing, numbers dot value. So we are taking that particular value, and we are checking if the number is not equal to empty. So that means there is something. Sorry. So if we write that. So if condition, if number not equal to empty, so what are we trying to do? We are fetching. So we are fetching this, we are using a fetch. Fetch is a JavaScript function. So here again, you are passing that particular value, right? So http colon slash slash, you have numbers API, numbers API.com slash, right? And then you are integrating this particular number variable there, right guys? If number not equal to empty, yes. So you are fetching this particular data, and this particular fetch, once you fetch, this will go and fetch the data from this particular API, and it will return a promise. Okay, we'll do an example of promises also, and that promise will return a dot then and a dot catch. So if this promise is a true promise, if the data is really coming from that API, so we have to call a callback function telling response. Okay, so response dot text. Okay, we'll make a separate video of this. Okay, we'll make a separate video of this text, and then you have to make one more then. So this is common in fetch API. For the people who knows how to do fetch API, I think this should be easy. Dot data, and which is an arrow function. So we are making one more request telling that fact dot style dot display, right? Style dot display display is equal to back to block, right? Back to block, and then fact dot fact text dot inner text is equal to data. So we are storing this particular data here. Okay, so inside that particular data, we have inside this particular response text, we have this data, and we are taking that particular data and we are storing it there. So if the data doesn't come back, so we have something called as catch, and that catch will have an error, right? Error, and we'll doing console.log of, we are doing if the error, if we don't get a data, throw back the error. Okay, save this, and I don't know what is wrong with this. 1 second. Right, if not equal to empty. I don't know what went wrong there. So we'll try with this. So we'll replace this with fact get fact Ajax with get fact fetch and try once, right? Save it. Go here, refresh once because we don't want any kind of error. we do 23, we'll wait because that is fetching now. The data is fetching from that particular API. Yes, we are getting the data. 24, yes, we are getting the data. So guys, so this is the two way in which you can do it. We can either do that in the old traditional way of Ajax and the new way of by using fetch. Fetch, what it does, I mean, we'll start from fetch now. So you declare a function, you get that particular value, and you're checking whether that value, if that value is there, you're making use of a JavaScript function called as fetch, which will go and fetch this particular API, and whatever number we are passing it, it will get the response. And that response, if there is a response, then it will store it in dot then, right? If there is no response, then it will go to catch. So if there is a response, so the data will be stored in response.text, right? And response.text has something called as data inside it, and we will store that particular data there, or else it will go to error. So when it comes to Ajax, Ajax is very simple. So you have an XML HTTP request. You are making it as XHR, creating a new instance of that object. You are sending that particular data by using an open method, by using a method called as get and that particular API. If there is a response, we are checking whether the status of that particular response is 200. 200 means everything is good to go, and then the data will be coming back with a variable called as response text, or the object property called as response text. Okay, so now we are getting data in both different ways, and I hope this video was helpful for you to learn something about Ajax and fetch. And we will be making an exclusive videos of Ajax and fetches in the coming section. So I think till then, please try around with your own ways of doing stuffs with APIs. So if you like this particular video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next particular video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.